Hi, I'm Samantha of Goddess Awakening. I'm here to hold a safe space and share with you the true and authentic stories of how we got here. Empowering women, elevating for all. Hello, everyone, and happy December. Welcome to another episode of Goddess Awakening. We took a little break. We've been pretty busy. We did have our last podcast was in September. So since then we had our, this thing called Goddess Awakening that we've been talking about all the time on the podcast happened in October. So that's what we were busy doing the last few months since the last podcast episode. And I've got Brian here with me today again.
Good morning.
Yeah, it is 10 o'clock in the morning, which is, pretty late for us. I usually get up around 6 a.m. So this is like mid-morning, almost afternoon for me at this point, halfway through my day.
Yeah, and as you're leaving, I always get up at 6:30 pretty much. So
that's what he says, but I don't know.
Oh, Lord.
So let's talk about the festival a little bit.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So we had the festival. It was wonderful. If you haven't seen pictures from our main stage, especially, definitely check that out. We'll have to share some photos once we share this episode. We had our production team, Fifth Dimension Presents, come along and set up all of the speakers and lasers and LEDs. And then we also had a new piece that we added this year, which was our art installation on the main stage. She is a goddess and her name is Aya. And our friend Eddie from North Carolina actually created her. And then he was affected by the hurricanes that happened. I guess it was beginning of October.
Yeah, it was
right before the festival.
It was either end of September or October. I can't remember when the actual hurricane came through. So
he actually finished this art piece with generators outside of his house because he didn't have power from the hurricanes, dropping some trees on his house. And obviously, North Carolina got very affected and other areas by the hurricane that came through in the fall. So pretty amazing. Basically, it is layers of wood that he cuts out, and then he was 3D projection mapping onto the face. So she had lots of different faces. It moved. It looks crazy. It looks really cool. So if you haven't seen it yet, definitely go check it out. We've had lots of people tell us like that was one of the best stages they've seen all year long at festivals, which is, means a lot because this is only our second year, and we definitely came in with a plan to show people exactly that we mean business.
Yep.
And I think people finally started to believe that firsthand by getting to see our stage in person.
Yeah, the good thing is that like we talked about, we had people doting on us from all aspects, whether it was the festival goers, the volunteers, the vendors, all the way to our headliners and everything, just talking about how well we ran this festival and how beautiful it was and how much it meant to them. So that's really, really important.
Yes, we made a good impression with everyone who was involved. And then, of course, we talked about how amazing our main stage was. But then we also wanted to emphasize how impactful the workshop space was. So that was down by the water. There is like this water creek situation on the venue. And then there's a stage over there as well, which we did have overnight silent disco going on for anyone who wanted to keep dancing past. The main stage closed at like between 1 and 3 a.m. So people could keep dancing and having a good time with silent disco, or, you could also sleep because there wasn't loud music going all night long. So I really love the options we had for people. The workshop space went really well, too. And that was kind of like morning to early evening time. So a little bit of overlap between the workshop space and the main stage music, but not too much. And the theme was the theme for the weekend is definitely music, arts, and healing. And the healing space comes in all areas of the festival, but obviously the workshop space is a big part of that. And our friend Madeline and her partner Davis, they're in Nashville. They actually helped, or they pretty much were the facilitators of that space throughout the whole weekend. Madeline was our coordinator for the workshop presenters. So they just basically set up a really special space over there for everyone.
She did an amazing job.
Yeah, they did a great job. And it was definitely something that she was stepping into for the first time. And even for her after the weekend, she was like, I've wanted to hold a space for people that's, a safe space for people. And this is what it is for me. It's the workshop space. And we had anything from an Ableton tutorial from one of our artists who set that up. And that was really, really cool. And there was lots of people at that workshop. I held my first workshop, which was Celebration of Life, which that went really well as well. And then there was all kinds of things happening throughout the weekend. I know one of them was like insect and plant preservation. Mm-hmm. So that was super cool.
In the dark painting.
Yeah.
Just
the compliment challenge, Pirate Church. Pirate Church was a big hit that I got to catch the very end of. But basically it's just spaces where people can express themselves and connect with people and kind of get a taste of a retreat if you were to do that for a full weekend. And this is kind of like a step into that world, which was the goal of the festival. So I feel like for me, the biggest win of the weekend was just seeing all of these parts and visions that I have been manifesting come to life over the weekend in like every aspect of the festival.
Yeah, I mean, your concept of bridging that gap between the retreat world and the EDM music festival world is not an easy task, because those are a lot of times very different people, but the concept and the vision that you had really came together very, very well. And like I said earlier, everybody was just giving us kudos for how well it all went off. So it's a great idea and a great concept, and we did it.
Yeah, we did it. And so Sunday, the event ends and pretty much everyone is supposed to be off site besides like our actual team by like 3 p.m. or something. So we can, pack everything up and decompress. And it turned into a team sleepover Sunday night. So that was really fun. The people who were still there from our immediate team got to just like hang out, enjoy the weekend and reminisce of all the experiences that we all had. And that was a really special thing. So I think we'll definitely continue that for ourselves. As the festival runs Thursday through Saturday night. And then Sunday morning, we actually had, Pirate Church. So we had a few workshops. And then we had a closing ceremony, which our friend Dustin, who's back in Thailand, was in Thailand for a few months, came to Goddess Awakening, and then now he's back. So he pretty much came back just for our festival, and he's a very good friend of ours. But he hosted the closing ceremony, which was really special, and I've seen him do something similar to another festival that we were a part of together. And basically, he does a prayer, and everyone who's in the circle, which there was probably 40 people, I would guess.
Yeah, around there.
Which is, that's the last day, and people are mostly going home and packing up. But there's about 40 people, I would say, in this circle, and we all got to bury a crystal in this space, and it basically was just like a send off and a thank you for the land, for allowing us to be in the space. And then Jason Turner, who is our production lead / business partner / best friend, he like goes over to his truck and he's digging through and trying to find something. I have no idea what he's doing. And then he comes out and he pulls a microphone that belonged to our friend Kyle, who passed last November. It's crazy. It's been just over a year now since he passed. But it belonged to him, and he was a longtime music producer, and this was like his special microphone, and he handed it to me and said, let's bury this here. So that was definitely an unexpected special moment for a lot of us. So we buried his microphone. And we cried a lot, and, I've cried quite a bit over it, but Kyle was with us in lots of ways over the weekend, and that was just a special one. And that's when we saw some, the eagle fly over while we're burying it, which was really cool. We actually had one of our art vendors took a picture and posted it, but we had I'm going to butcher, I always say this wrong, but Aurora Borealis. Yes, that. Why can I not say that word? Okay, so
Northern Lights.
We had the opportunity to possibly see that over the weekend, and it was visible. It was definitely more visible with, a good camera, but it was purple lights that were all over Goddess Awakening on Thursday night, which was Kyle's favorite color and a big part of why Goddess Awakening, our, branding color is all purple. So just one of the many ways that our friend Kyle was with us that weekend, because he was one of the original people who started the festival with me back in 2022. And then we also had our friend Sarah had set up a nice little memorial space for any of our friends who have passed. And so people would go over there and add pictures or a little trinket or something that, reminded them of their friend, or just to kind of have them with us there over the weekend. So we're excited to expand on that space for next year. Just having something more permanent where maybe every tree has our friend's name on it or something like that. But that was a really nice space that she set up for us for this year.
Yeah, I went over there. I think it was Friday morning before everything started really getting into the hustle and bustle. And I just sat down and reflected and stuff, used it for what it was meant to be. Reflect on my buddies that are no longer here from the military and stuff. A couple of them especially, we used to go out and party all the time, at other events and festivals while we were together in Germany. So it was really a nice place. It was quiet early in the morning down there by the river. And it was, I definitely look forward to next year as well, being able to make that something a little bit more permanent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had lots of friends. Some people that I have been friends with for a long time that were helping us with the festival this year, which was really cool. Like I mentioned, Jason Turner, him and I have met back in 2012 at Bonnaroo, which is really where my passion for music festivals began. And then Xavier joined us this year, being our one of our photographer for the festival. He's actually almost finished, or actually we might be done finally with the after movie. We had a few edits that we had to make, but I'm really excited to release that. Our goal is to have that out by the first of the year, so you guys can get to see a glimpse into our weekend and everything that we brought to the festival. And I've known Xavier. He was one of the first people I met when I came to Bonnaroo 2012, and he kind of welcomed us with open arms, and we've been friends ever since. So it was really cool to get to see him doing what he loves, because he's been wanting to get back into videography for a long time. And he's been getting all kinds of gigs ever since the festival. So he's like super appreciative and thankful, and it feels really good to have those people that I've known for so long in this world being a part of our festival. And then of course, friend Brian, he helped out with everything that needed. And then Keisha came along for the first time. This was actually her first festival. Yeah. His girlfriend, and she had a great time too. So that was really cool to see like people's first time experience of a festival. And then I had a surprise guest that showed up that I wasn't expecting to be there. They kind of surprised me with him showing up on, I think it was Saturday.
Saturday, because it was Friday night.
Yeah, well, Grant from Texas, he ended up rolling up. And we didn't think he was going to be able to come because him and his wife, Arista, had their baby was born November 3rd, I want to say. It was like a few days before my birthday. So she was very pregnant and obviously didn't want to come out to the middle of nowhere, Arkansas, with being like, 8.5 months pregnant. So he got to come out and surprise me for a day or so at the festival. So that was really great. And then he's actually going to be hosting a self-defense workshop for us this next year, which he's talked about doing for a while. And I'm really excited he's going to commit to that. He's got lots and lots of years of martial arts training, and he's like a referee for all the jujitsu tournaments and things like that. So he definitely can be an asset with us being able to learn how to take care of ourselves if we were in a situation that we needed to know how to do that, which I do not. So I'm definitely going to be attending this workshop.
Can't forget about DJ too. We had DJ there.
DJ, Dan Horn, also known as, he came this year as well. Also kind of last minute, just hit me up and was like, hey, I think I'm going to come up with Xavier. And I also met DJ years ago through the Bonnaroo crew from Tennessee. And I was like, cool, I can put you to work. And we did. And he helped us with whatever we needed to do. So that was great to have him out there as well. And then you and DJ became besties, which is kind of unexpected. But the more you think about it, the more it makes sense with your military background.
Exactly. We're both Army guys. So, and then we also had Cameron come up too, who helped us. He was an instrumental part of running our general store and merch, which flowed on over to next year. He's going to be really helping us out with that as well. So it's really nice when you see, like you and I talked about, like some of those friends that were unexpected that really stepped up, and that really makes it worthwhile in my book as well, that these people see the vision that you have, that I now have, that is so important to us, that they are just willing to give up their time to help us out with that. And it's awesome. Yeah.
And there's lots of people that we met in the last, or I've met in the last few years that helped us out with the festival. And Jordan ended up being our volunteer coordinator and was also one of our artists on the main stage. And she did an amazing job with that. And it's like something that she'd wanted to do for a while, but this is the first time. Like, she's been a volunteer at festivals, but this is the first time really she's been like behind the scenes and really handling the stuff that's happening during a festival, because, we have meetings on meetings before the festival. And I told everyone, I was like, hey, during the week of the festival, it's just figure it out. There's going to be so many things that, and I'm a planner and I know I do a great job. And that's another way that people were praising the festival, is just like how organized we were and how together we had things. But there's always going to be things that you don't plan for, that are unexpected, that are going to come up, and you just have to figure them out as they come. And my core team I'm very thankful for that, because the first year literally was me and friend Brian, like just figuring out all the things that came to us. And this time, like, I had a whole team of people who had walkie-talkies and were responsible and sober and handling situations. And it wasn't just all on me this time. So I'm just really thankful that I had a solid team this go around. And, most of us are coming back for year 3, which is, our dates are going to be October 16th through the 19th, 2025. So we already have dates announced. We already have tickets on sale. And we're already having meetings and planning for everything that's coming in the next year.
Getting with booking agents for those headliners and getting with local talent and all that kind of stuff, It's like, that's what I think a lot of people fail to realize, is that for a festival to really run well, it is an all-year thing. It's not just 3 months before, hey, let's have a festival. Like, yeah, you might be able to do something with 3 months worth of planning, but it's not going to be done well. It's not going to have longevity. And that's what's making a big difference about us. Like you said, being able to problem solve in the moment, the multi-million-dollar festivals, the Coachellas, the EDCs, they are all the same exact way. Like, they plan all year. They have tens of thousands of people that work for them, and they still have to problem solve on the day of, because things happen. A truck breaks down that is bringing some porta potties. Oh crap, now we're short porta potties. What are we going to do? Like, there's all different types of things that could happen. And the fact that, like you said, we had such an amazing team that was able to stay fluid and available. And like you said, too, stay sober and stuff like that in order to be able to do a job so others could experience it and have fun with it and have a healing experience. For a lot of them was also a healing experience, so it was a really, really good time.
We do have all of our applications open for next year. Our main stage act is actually going to close on January 1st. So we've had it open since almost right after the festival. And we have a lot of applications for the main stage. So we're going to go ahead and shut that down January 1st so we can start going through the people who have applied. But a big focus for me is going to be adding more diversity to the lineup as far as genres go. So we're definitely going to focus on those like live singers, small bands, things like that for the evening daytime acts leading up into more of the electronic music in the evenings. And then, of course, we're going to keep the silent disco. Everyone really liked that a lot, so we're going to keep that going. So we'll have those applications will stay open for a bit. And then we've got vendor applications open, volunteer applications, workshops, live performers, artists. Basically, any way that you want to get involved with the festival is available and open on our link tree right now. So spread the word if you have any friends who want to apply for the main stage. That will be closing on January 1st, just because we have had so many people apply. We want to give us time to go through all these applications and start to really fill in the lineup strategically. Like I said, we want to make sure we add some more genres this year. I am definitely excited to be adding some reggae this year, which that kind of happened. And with, our focus being women in the music and arts industry and finding an artist group that actually has several women in their reggae band. So we're going to have lots of cool things going to be added to next year. The stage is going to be bigger and better, which is wild to think about.
Oh, I know.
But yeah, we're just going to be we're going to keep adding more and more. I'm actually going to get on a few calls this week with people who have reached out about wanting to collaborate with their businesses too, which I'm really excited about, having Goddess branded things with other people's businesses. And then in return, we're going to help sell more of their products and gain visibility for these businesses. So the big thing for 2025 for me is just going to be collaboration and just helping each other grow all of our businesses. So that's going to be a really big focus for me in 2025. Well, that's Goddess Awakening. I'd say we took a break after the festival.
Yeah, right.
But we really didn't. No, we didn't. I would say we took like a mini vacation or so in November, kind of.
Well, let's put it this way. Right after the festival, I got rid of my BMW and bought the truck.
That's true.
And in the first 3.5 weeks of having a truck, I put 5,000 miles on it. So
we've been around.
Yeah, we drove here and there and everywhere.
Mostly Tennessee and Arkansas. Yep. But yeah, we went to Hot Springs and dug some crystals for my birthday and spent some time in a cool Airbnb on the lake. That was really nice. Cool. We went to Tennessee for something.
The football game.
Oh, that's right. Our anniversary weekend, we went to Nashville and we went to the Patriots-Titans game because Brian's a big Patriots fan and
friend Brian is a Titans fan.
Yeah. So that was fun. Definitely a different experience going to an NFL football game when you're not drinking alcohol. I'll tell you that. Totally different. A lot less rowdy. You're just kind of like watching all the rowdiness happening, mostly from our friend Brian, who by the end of the game was ripping his shirt off and,
But in all fairness, the Titans did win, so he had a reason to
the Titans beat the Patriots. That's pretty bad.
Last minute.
Yeah.
Whatever. We still have more Super Bowl wins. But
so
anyways.
That was a fun weekend. We did some other stuff that weekend too. I don't remember what.
Well, we're at a hotel with him and Keisha and saw the indoor Christmas lights and
just hopping around, doing some stuff, hanging out with our friends for the most part was the theme of November. So we've got 2 birthdays, anniversary, and then Thanksgiving, of course. And then
our year and a half of being sober,
in November.
No alcohol.
No alcohol for a year and a half. So we just hit maybe 17 months this month.
No.
Yes.
A year and a half. 19
months.
19
Whoa,
months.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then I'm 14 months, no nicotine. So it's kind of crazy.
Yep.
Went by quick.
It did. So it's like, I think I actually had a dream last night where someone was like offering me like to come out and they're like, oh, they're going to have shots. And I was like, oh, well, I don't drink. But it kind of comes back around to something we were discussing a couple nights ago where it's like we should all be, very particular about the people that we surround ourselves with, and then also the environments that we are putting ourselves in. Correct. And when it comes to not drinking alcohol, sober is still a weird word for me. I don't know why, but not drinking alcohol free, whatever you want to call it. It's like, you don't necessarily want to go to the nightclub, on a Friday night. It's like, what are we going to do? We're going to be around a lot of people who are drinking a lot of alcohol. Like, I don't know. I've noticed for me, whenever I smell alcohol, I have this weird, like, jerk. I don't know if it's a trigger or if it's a memory or what it is exactly. But for me, the smell of alcohol still, like, makes me, I don't want to say uncomfortable, but it makes me not want to be in the space.
I think it's honestly, like you said, the environment and the people. Because, like, if you're going out, we went to that one bar in Hot Springs for your birthday, and none of us were going to drink. So it was cool. It's like, normally you're like, well, if you're not drinkers, and why you go to a bar? Well, it's a cool place. It's a new place to see. It was very cool, the stuff they had inside of it. And all of us knew we weren't going to drink, so we were looking for non-alcoholic mocktail versions of things. So there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's kind of like a combination of both. If, like, you're trying not to do drugs and drink, then don't go hang out with 10 of your friends that you've only ever done copious amounts of drugs and drank a lot of alcohol together. Because if they aren't willing to do that, then that's going to be a difficult situation for everybody. So,
yeah. It's pretty cool, though, that we've had a few friends spending time with us, and we'll, like, go out and get lunch or dinner or whatever. And we obviously aren't ordering alcoholic beverages. We're ordering, an iced tea or a Diet Coke or whatever. And people have said to us, like, it's really nice to, not be almost like expected that we're just gonna get drinks with our meal. Like, we can order other things instead, and, like, that we are a good influence to be around, which that feels really good, because it was quite the opposite for a long time in my life, where I was the one encouraging people to go out and party and drink lots of alcohol and get wild, So, like, hearing those things that, like, we are now the people that, if you want to make a change and not drink alcohol, like, we are good friends to have, because it's to the point where it's like, we don't even really think about it anymore. I have noticed that I do crave having, like, a good bubbly drink, but not the alcohol part, but it's like, sometimes it really is hard to find, like, a good mocktail.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's on the menu and they'll have some options. But sometimes you'll have to, like, ask them, like, hey, can you guys make us a mocktail? And most of the time they will, but sometimes people are just like, no, we don't have anything. And it's like, well, why not? It's time that we have options for everyone. Like, you've got juice for kids, so, like, why don't we have a mocktail for adults who don't drink alcohol? Yeah. It just seems like it's become less of, like, a normal thing in, like, the last year, I would say.
Well, it's like I was looking at one of the local New Year's Eve parties that's going on. Like, one of their prizes you can win right now is a $25 voucher at the bar. And it's like, not everybody drinks alcohol, but literally people who aren't thinking ahead or are thinking outside the box that's all they ever think about is bar, drink, party. And it's like, that's not what everybody is, and that's why being 48 and still in the scene, a lot of times people talk about the old heads, the grouchy old people that, used to be in the scene and this and that. It's like, that's part of it too, though, is like, we don't go out to get fucked up. We don't go out to just get drunk and all that. Like, and there's a huge difference with that age group sometimes. Don't get me wrong. There's younger ones that definitely don't do that. And there's older ones that still do that. Yeah. But that's kind of that same thing is like, think outside the box and think about the experience, which to go back to the festival, which I love is, our hashtag that we came up, not just a festival. It's not just a stack of pretty speakers and an LED wall behind it. It's a whole experience. So that's, I think, we are changing with that as well. And that's why people want to be around us with that.
Yeah. And speaking of like people you surround yourselves with, even with social media, I mean, in the last 2 years, I've deleted people off of my Facebook. And that sounds silly or whatever, but I'm a millennial and I'm 33. So Facebook is still my favorite space, whatever. But it's like, why did I add all these people on Facebook? Because I thought, they were my friends. No, they just wanted to party with me. And, I'm the person throwing music festivals so they can be friends with me and I'll book them. But it's like, no, that's not what I'm here to do. And when I started talking about not drinking alcohol, which it's interesting because whenever my Facebook memories pop up sometimes, there was like a month or so in 2021 or 2022 that I was just like, I'm not drinking alcohol this month. But I sometimes
month we got together.
Right. So I've done that a few times over the past few years, but I've never done it more than like a month ever until this time. And there's lots of reasons. I realized my social anxiety was a huge reason of why I was drinking alcohol. Because if I go out to the club or the bar or the event, whatever, people are typically drinking. Like everyone is drinking. It was just, probably still is, a very normal thing for people to just be buying drinks and drinks and drinks and drinks. And it's like, well, what happens whenever you drink alcohol? Well, you start to be more loose and, you're not really worried about things as much. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was how I handled my social anxiety. So once I removed alcohol, it was like going out was a really hard and scary experience where I was like, I don't really want to be out here because people still, and it's like, once you're sober and you start noticing things more because you are sober and you're not inebriated from, drugs or alcohol or whatever, it's like people come up to me and the ones that I thought were my quote unquote friends, they're there, they're offering to buy me drinks or want to give me drugs. And that was the environment that I had become accustomed to. And that's when I started to realize like, oh shit, I have to really make some big changes. And that's where I said, like, I just started deleting people off of Facebook, or I stopped going out to certain places that I knew there's going to be people who are going to want to offer me all of these things because, that's what you do whenever you hang out with certain groups is they're just partying and getting wild. And last night was a full moon. For anyone who didn't know. And the big thing with full moons is like releasing old energy. And that way we can start fresh, which the timing of it is perfect considering it's the very end of the year. And one of the things that I want to release is to not like be disappointed, which when it comes to my human design, my not self is disappointment. So disappointment for me, it's like, it just, it's where I'm my most not centered self. So my big thing of releasing is like not being disappointed when I don't get included in things or invited to things, because I've noticed since I started making all these big changes is I don't get included in a lot of things that I would have been included with before. And it's not a personal thing towards me. Well, I guess it kind of is, but it's like I have made these choices to be better for myself. And I'm thankful that I've done those things because it has allowed space for new people to come into my life.
Yeah.
But it does hurt whenever you're used to being included in all of these things. And then it's like, oh, well, I don't even get a second thought anymore.
Could it be, though? I'm going to ask one question. Could it be also a level of respect from those people? If they know their main goal is to also go out and only be getting drunk and fucked up.
Those people aren't the people that care about being respectful anymore.
Okay.
So no, I don't think so.
Okay, no.
Like I said, I think it's opened up more space for the people who do want to spend time with me and do want to work with me and do things with me. So kind of just releasing all of that old energy altogether.
Well, it's funny you say about the Facebook thing, deleting spree. What happened on your birthday or your birthday weekend with me? My Facebook account of 17 years got hacked and they shut it down and I lost everything. So it's like now as I'm going back to this rebuilding process, because as much as I'm the old get off my grass grandpa type thing and I hate social media, you got to have it in these times with music and promotion and all that kind of stuff. So I had to restart. But it's kind of cool. It's like people you may know, it's like, oh, they were on my friends list. And the first thing that you want to do is go hit, ask to be friend. And it's like, but why? I don't need you anymore. Mm-hmm. Like you didn't do anything except me go, oh my God, your drama is so ridiculous. So it's like, okay, never mind. I'm not going to re-add you.
Yeah.
So it's very breathtaking. It's very refreshing. It's scary because you have to rebuild an entire thing, but in ways it's kind of nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd probably have like a whole mental breakdown for like 4 days straight if that happened to me. Lesson to anyone out there, go ahead and back up all of your photos because that I feel like is the biggest thing that scares me.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have, like I said, 17 years. I opened that Facebook account in 2007, which was like very shortly after the time you were able to get a Facebook if you weren't a college student, because I wasn't. I was over in Germany, So a lot of my early times in my career, my traveling with DJing, my flyers and people I met, fans and promoters or whatever, all those memories are gone. A lot of those pictures are gone. So it's definitely like you said. I have 2-step factor authorization turned on. I don't do stupid stuff. I don't click on stupid links. I don't play those games of what was the name of the street address you grew up on and blah, 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 that they get the reset passwords for you, for your accounts. And my stuff still got hacked. So you're not invincible, and it sucks, definitely. But also, like you said, it's time to make new ones, new memories, new experiences.
Well, and like thinking about my birthday when we went to Arkansas after the festival, it was like, it kind of just organically happened where it was a bunch of people who decided, and I think there was like about 10 of us throughout the whole weekend, where it was like, no one drinks alcohol. Yeah. Just so happened that happened, where it was like, we don't drink alcohol. They don't. And it was just like all the people who ended up coming were like not drinkers. Yeah. And it was very weird for me to sit back and realize like, oh my gosh, how different my life has become. And, really, I'd say like the last 2 years as far as like not drinking, where we just said, we're like, okay, well, you can bring your 420 friendly and psychedelic things, but we're not going to do any powders or alcohol at the house. And no, there was no objections. It was not a big deal. A lot of us had we had lots of different drinks, like juices and bubbly and this, that, the other. So we had lots of things to drink, which I think is definitely helpful, is like having something to drink, which I think to me, non-alcoholic, of course, is like still a nervous tick where I need to have something in my hand if I'm out and about so I can still be drinking, but I'm not drinking alcohol or whatever. But it was like such a wonderful weekend where we had this nice house and we literally brought board games and we brought our dogs and we went crystal digging and we cooked each other food and we just like spent time together.
Well, and think about it too. Most of the people, we had a couple of newer friends that were there too, but most of the friends that we knew for a while had problems with, potential problems with having drinking too much, and have all recently also as well had that realization and have been going through this change, metamorphosis, so to say. And it was awesome. Like you said, came together at your birthday and nobody missed it. Nobody was like, oh, I want a beer, or, oh man, I missed this, or whatever. It was nothing. Yeah. It was great.
So again, it just goes back to like being intentional about the people that you're surrounding yourself with.
Yep.
So yeah, that was kind of the Facebook post I made a few days ago that I'm really excited to go through and connect with a bunch of people. And I said, I'm looking for, businesses that would be interested in collaborating with me and Goddess Awakening in the next coming year. And I said, I can't remember the exact verbiage I wrote, but it was like small businesses, venues, aligned promoters. That one for me, I feel like I'm the most excited about because people sent me messages and were like, hey, we really need to touch base and see how we can help each other and work together. And you can come do an event with Goddess Awakening in my city. And I think that we are aligned because I don't want to work with every single promoter. And that's been another really hard thing for me to work through is that there are certain promoters in my own home in Oklahoma where they don't talk to me. They don't reach out to me. They don't want to be involved with anything that I'm doing. And I have to like step back and not be offended by it. But it also makes me think, why aren't they reaching out to me? Why don't they want to do something with me? There's got to be some kind of disconnect with what I'm doing and the messages that I'm spreading, which is, basically giving a platform for underrepresented artists of all kinds. And having a safe space where the focus isn't, drugs and alcohol and just ragers, but like, let's have a good time and, remember it at the end of the night and connect with people and actually make it an impactful experience. Like with a lot of our events, we want to start having, like artist meetups where, we'll have an event, we'll have a music and a sound bath and you can come make candy. And then you can also meet other local regional artists that are in your area because it should be where we're working together. Right. So that's another thing I'm really excited about is just, we said we were going to have like 10 to 12 Goddess Awakening stops, but who knows, it might be more because after I connect with all these people, it's like I said, that one person reached out to me from Omaha. I've never been to Omaha, Nebraska, but if someone wants to collaborate with us and it does feel aligned and they are on the same page of like, what we're doing, because that's the important part is we're not just throwing events to throw events. We're doing it intentionally. So I think that's a big difference between what we're doing and what some of the, other events have been happening.
And I think too, like from the male perspective, I know we talked about this in the long past, probably around episode 3 or so on the podcast, but from a male's perspective, this is to bring awareness of all good types of artists. This isn't you reverse gatekeeping. Goddess Awakening's whole goal is to not reverse gatekeep men away. It's to bring awareness of, all the different amazing artists that we have out there. It doesn't matter, gender, race, color, whatever. Like when you and I first got together, that's, our wonderful joking story, I was doing nights where I had nothing but female DJs and you were like, that's not enough. And I'm like, there's not any more artists out there. And you're like, BS, that's crap. We'll find some. And immediately we did. And that's what a lot of these like meetups and these working togethers are really helping us find is like, we're finding some amazing artists like, Katie from Texas. I mean, she's an amazing artist that fits right in with everything we're doing. Jordan is somebody we probably never would have really gotten directly in contact with without this, the girls up in Tulsa, Stereo Sounds, like all of these people that we're finding that we may not have found because we were only, like you said, working with these promoters around us that are only doing the same thing over and over again with the same people over and over again, which generally don't include a lot of minorities or females or anything like that. So this has really helped expanding everybody's vision and eyes of all the amazing artists that we have out there.
Yes. And on that note as well, I'm going to be getting lots of new guests on the podcast this upcoming year, which I'm really excited about. I put out some feelers for some people because I was kind of curious to see who was out there. I've talked about doing a podcast series or a book or something about my experience as an ex-corporate retail employee. So I had several people actually comment on my status looking for those people. So I'm going to start reaching out to some of them. There's one girl that I know from Nashville, and she's now running her business with her partner. And she apparently has worked in the sales and the healthcare side. So I think she's would be a good candidate. So we're definitely going to be talking some stories about ex-corporate life, because I worked at Best Buy for almost 8 years, and I don't talk about it publicly a whole lot, but oh boy, do I have some stories.
Oh,
and I'm sure we all do. So we ran into a new vendor friend in Tulsa a couple weekends ago, and she actually worked security for Walmart for like 10 years. And she already told us some stories. I'm like, whoa. Yeah. So I think that will be a really fun one for us to talk about. And she's the person that I'm referring to is also in this music art world too. So I think she would be a good person to have on. And then we're going to be connecting with a lot of women who are throwing their own music festivals, throwing their own events locally. I really want to start connecting with them more, so we can connect all of these webs together. Mm-hmm. I recently was on a call. It was actually the first call. It was the Coven of New York. And it basically was this woman and her collective out of New York City. And she connected a whole bunch of us who are, doing what we're doing, giving the spotlight to underrepresented artists. And it was really cool that I got to get on that call as Goddess Awakening. But one of our friends from Basin Babes, Baby Kush, she is another person that we will be getting on the podcast to talk about. She's doing really amazing things for the industry. And she actually does this thing. She does little reels, videos where she will talk about a major festival, and then she will highlight the women, femme, non-binary artists and show the percentage and how low they are, which was cool because she did it for us as well. And we were like 67% female, femme, non-binary artists, which the reverse typically is under about 20%. So she will call out these big festivals like, all of them.
One of them.
Every single festival you can think about, she calls them out. And I think, like I said, the highest was probably like 27%. And it's like, wow, they did so great. But there'll be times where it's like under 10%. And it's wild to see. So she's really just like bringing awareness to the lack of diversity that is happening on music festival lineups. And then and she's also in the West Coast, which is where one of our favorite friends / artists is now, Noe. So we definitely are going to be making the stop to California with Goddess Awakening this year, which I'm really excited about. But yeah, basically just have lots of exciting guests that we're going to be having on the podcast this coming year. And
well, it's also really refreshing in linking up with some of these people because, like when you consider somebody family or whatever, like, you call them your brother or your sister or whatever, even though they're not by blood, that's what we're building right now, because these people, like-minded people that are willing to work with us and grow with us, because that's our whole goal. Like, we're not stopping. We're going to keep getting bigger. We're going to keep getting bigger. And the people at the same, where we're at too, and are wanting to work with us as family, they're going to do nothing but grow with us as well. Like some of the people that started with, he's, as far as music industry and what exactly we're talking about, he may not necessarily be the best, but Pascal Rotel from EDC, he's the same thing. He started out like we did. He found a cool place. He started EDC, Electric Daisy Carnival, and it was a couple hundred people, and then it was 1,000 people, and then it was this, and then he brought the Ferris wheel. The next thing you know, he's 20 years later, 550,000 people in Las Vegas at his festival. That's what we're at, those infancy stages right now. We're doing nothing but getting better and growing. And these awesome people that we're finding along the way are going to do the same with us. Is great.
So lots of exciting things coming up, and we are going to enjoy the rest of this holiday season. We've got this week and then one more day of work, and then we're off for a bit. We're going to go up to the Nashville area for Christmas, New Year's, and we're going to go play a show in Clarksville with literally all of our friends are on the lineup. So that'll be a lot of fun. A couple of friends' birthdays, and then, like I said, we're going to be having the after movie. Goal is on the 1st, so be expecting that very soon. I'm really excited to show that to everyone and get Xavier some appreciation for the work that he put into that as well. So I'm glad to see he's back doing what he loves. And then, just stay tuned. We've got lots of events on the way. Our first 2 of the year, as of now, will be in Norman and Oklahoma City. We're going to be collaborating again this year with the Yellow Brick Road Dance Festopia Road 2s. We're going to be hosting the Norman stop on the February 28th. Correct. And that is going to be a competition. So if you'd like to sign up, you can sign up to perform. And if you win, you get a slot at Dance Festopia in September. And then also the next day, we're going to be hosting a collaboration with their sister business, Unity. And it's going to be all female artists that we're going to be hosting in Oklahoma City on March 1st. And we are also going to be having an artist mixer set up for that one. So stay tuned for more information on those. Yeah, the March 1st one, too, to give a shout out. We did that specifically for the kick off Women's History Month as well. So it's going to be a great one. Norman one's going to be at Bison Witches. And the Oklahoma City one is going to be at the White Rabbit. And we are excited to be working with these people. And yeah, like I said, look for us on the socials and everything. We'll be continuously posting the links for you guys to put in your mixes if you want to compete in the competition for the February 28th one in Norman. Like Samantha said, you get a slot at Dance Festopia, and it's a pretty cool fest. Even though a lot of times it's not necessarily my music, I really enjoyed my time there this year. It's a really cool venue, and I really like playing there. Sweet. All right. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of Goddess Awakening. Check out our link tree in the description for all our socials and upcoming events. This podcast is brought to you by the Possibilities Podcast platform.